All right, find the indefinite integral, and I give you a hint. You will not need to use substitution on these problems. So these are problems that are similar to problems that would come from section 6.1. So straightforward integration. So the first thing that I'm going to do with this integral, 1 over 5 times x to the 7th power dx, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it by pulling out that constant of 1/5. So now I have 1 over x to the 7th dx. And then I'm going to go ahead and make that exponent negative and bring x to that power to the top of the fraction. So I'm going to write this as x to the negative 7th power times dx. So we're going to integrate now with respect to x. So we're going to add 1 to the power. So that gives me x to the negative 6th. We're going to divide by the new power. And then, of course, we're going to bring down that constant that's multiplied to the front of the integral symbol. Okay, and then I'm just going to simplify by multiplying across. Let's not forget the c. I'll put my plus c there. And then we're going to simplify by multiplying across. 1 times x to the negative 6th power, and then 5 times negative 6. You can choose to leave it just like that, or if you wish, you can give it back, bring it back to positive exponents. So I can leave it as 1 over negative 30 times x to the positive 6th power plus c. For negative 11, or for number 11, for number 11, I'm going to separate these three terms for each, with each one having their own integral. So I'm going to write this as 6 times x cubed dx minus 4 divided by x squared dx plus 5x dx. I'm going to integrate each term separately. And of course, for each one, we can bring out a constant. So I can bring out the constant 6. And then here I can bring out the constant 4. And then here we could bring out the constant 5. For the second term, I'm going to go one more step. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring out, and I'm going to bring this x squared to the top of that fraction. So I'm going to rewrite the middle as x to the negative 2 power dx. All right, now we're ready to integrate. All right, so for the first integration, I'm going to add 1 to the power. So that's going to give me 4. I'm going to divide by that new power. And then we're also going to bring down the constant that was multiplied times the front. So that's minus 4 times. And then we're going to integrate here. So we're going to add 1 to the power. So that gives me x to the negative 1. And then we're going to divide by that new power. For the third term and our last term that we're going to integrate, we're going to add 1 to the power. Remember that the power right now is currently 1. So we add 1 to that power, we get 2, and then we're going to divide by that new exponent. And then since we're doing indefinite integrals, we're going to make sure we add our constant. So I'm going to simplify each of these terms, make them look a little bit nicer. So here, think about this as 6 over 1. We have a common factor of 2. So we can write that as 3 over 2 times x to the 4th. For the second term, we have negative 4 divided by a negative 1. And two negatives are going to give us a positive. And then for the last term, not much is going to happen there. Nothing's going to cancel, but I can write this as 5 halves times x squared plus c. And if you wished to, you could go a little bit further and give the second term a positive exponent. So I could, if I wished, I could write that as 4 over x to the positive 1 power. instead of leaving it with a negative exponent. Okay, either one of these last two will be fine.